Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Pagani Design PD-YS010. Let's start with the wrist check. I'm wearing a Pagani Design PD-1731. I just unboxed that yesterday. And Greg was wearing my C-Stern S434. I asked Grogu if he watches any of the Life Day holiday classics. He said yes. His favorite is Thomas the Teal-Toed Tauntaun. He has some really shiny toes. It's a Ranker and Bosk production. His favorite character is Herbie the Jawa. He doesn't want to make droids. He just wants to pull everyone's teeth out. Alright, let's take a look at the watch. It comes in this typical Pagani Design snapper box. You've all seen my unboxing video, so I will not show you the contents. But here is the watch. I really like it. This is a big sucker, but it's a lot of fun and it wears great. I've had more Pagani Design watches on my channel than any other watch brand. They really do represent the mid-tier of AliExpress watches, sitting above Liege and Benyar, but below Kronos and San Martin. There usually is no design in Pagani Design, as most of their watches are direct homages of more famous brands. This one seems more derivative than a direct copy. I can't find anything, but then again, all I did was Google dodecagon bezel. This watch has the rarely seen NH39 movement. What separates this from the NH38 is the fact that there is a cutout in the plate exposing the balance wheel for an open heart watch. It also has a 24-hour subdial, which is oddly too close to the balance wheel, giving the watchmaker the dilemma of either cutting out a portion of the 24-hour subdial or obscuring part of the exposed balance wheel. Pagani Design chose the obscuration option. This Pagani Design comes in black, blue, or white dials, with blue having a blue strap. You can also get a black bezel in the black or blue, but not the white. There is no bracelet option. The watch is 47.5 millimeters if you measure ear to crown guard, but 41.3 millimeters if you measure at the flats of the bezel. There are no lugs, but it's 49.7 millimeters long. It's 13.2 millimeters thick if you measure at the middle here, and weighs 137 grams on the supplied strap. The bezel is a 12-sided dodecagon, and it's brushed, not polished, and it looks nice. And it has these screws. I'm sure these screws are fake, but I'm not going to try to unscrew them to see if they're real or not, because I just end up losing one, and that would really be a pain. And then we have the dial. We got the waffle pattern, kind of a Royal Oak style waffle pattern. Of course, the Tissot PRXs, the automatics, have a waffle pattern now too. It's coming pretty common. We have the Pagani Design name and logo on the right. The name is printed, but the logo is applied. It's kind of hard to see the logo though, because of the dark background. And then on the bottom it says automatic chronometer 100 meters. It shouldn't say chronometer. You're only supposed to say chronometer if you're COSC certified, and this most certainly is not. For one thing, it's not Swiss. COSC only certifies Swiss watches, and it has a Japanese movement, and COSC will never certify a Japanese movement. Then we have the open heart. You can see the wheel spinning and spinning. And then we have a 24-hour dial. And like I said in my montage, the 24-hour dial is so close to the open heart that they had to take this dial and put it over the open heart. So I really don't think that's a wise decision to have the 24-hour indicator so close. Of course, it's not Pagani Design's fault. It's Seiko's fault, who made the movement. Of course, there is no law that says you have to put a dial just because the movement supports it. Pagani Design could have easily left this 24-hour dial off, and I think it would have looked better. And personally, I'm not a big fan of 24-hour subdials. I just don't think they're much use. Then we have the applied indices, and they are lumed. I will show you a lume test later. And then we have the hands. The hands are partially skeletonized. The bases are skeletonized, but the tips are pretty long. And then we have the second hand, which has a tip there that's also loomed. And the lume's not bad for Pagani Design. I'll show you the test later. And there is no date on this watch, and the movement does not support a date. We have a science screw-down crown. This is a big watch, and it has a nice big crown. I like the crown. The crown action is great. It unscrews easily. Don't feel a lot of thread resistance. Pops nicely. And then when you go to screw it back down, everything catches right away. And it screws down without you thinking you're going to strip it. So I like that a lot. Then we have a flat sapphire crystal, just to make sure they weren't fibbing. I tested it, and it is indeed sapphire. And then we have the case. I love this case. It's just big and chunky and has all these angles, and everything is brushed. It just looks like an indestructible watch. I really like it. I think they did a good job with it. I just wish it had lugs. I don't know why they couldn't just put lugs on it and then you could change the straps, but they did not. I don't think that's a deal breaker though. And it's brushed on the bottoms too. And as you can see, there's little screws here to hold the strap in. Then we have a display case back, and the case back, they did a good job because it's nice and short, so it doesn't contribute to the thickness of the watch much, which is good. And it lets the watch wear nice and flat on your wrist. So I think they did a good job. It's a screw down. You get 100 meters of water resistance. And then it says Pagani Design, gives the model number. And then it says stainless steel, and this watch is indeed stainless steel. There's no plated alloy anywhere to be seen. And once again, you have 100 meters of water resistance, which is perfectly fine for this watch. It's not a diver. Underneath the case back is the NH39 movement. This is my first experience with the NH39. It is basically a NH38 with a open heart. They basically took the plate here and put a hole in it so you can see the balance wheel spinning. And they also added the 24-hour dial, as I mentioned before. Other than that, it's identical to an NH35 and NH38 type movement. 24 jewels, hand winds, hacks, and has a bidirectional rotor. And they're usually fairly accurate right off the shelf, but we'll put it on the time grapher and see. Here it is on the time grapher, and as you can see, we have some pretty good numbers there. +4, +3, only 0.2 milliseconds of beat error. The amplitude's a little low, but that's usually not a big deal. So yeah, this one's running great. +4 is just about as good as you can get. Nice thing about being a little bit fast is when you go to set the time after it's drifted for a while, all you have to do is hack the movement and wait for time to catch up. Unlike a slow watch where you have to move the hands. But yeah, I'm very happy with this movement. Then we have the strap. The strap has a genuine leather lining, but the outer appears to be vinyl or some kind of plastic. I'm not sure exactly what the material is, but it's definitely not leather. But the inside is. And once again, there are no lugs, so I don't know what's going to happen if the strap ever breaks on you. I guess it's possible to put something else there with these little screws, but good luck finding something. But it seems pretty sturdy, so hopefully you won't break it. Of course, if you just really love this watch, you could always just buy another one because they're not that expensive. But it still seems like a shame that they just didn't give it traditional lugs. Because then you could put it on a NATO or leather. I think this would look great on a leather strap. A vintage leather. But you can't do that because of the design. Just think that was a mistake. The buckle, though, is very nice. It's signed, really thick and sturdy. The prong isn't all floppy. And then you have your two keepers, one floating, one fixed. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. That looks really nice. Yeah, it's big, it's chunky, but look how flat it wears. Plus, at 140 grams, it's really not that heavy. And it seems balanced enough. The strap is nice and wide, so it feels sturdy. So I like it. Look at it though, I only have 4 notches going out, so that means you should be able to wear this with the 8.5, but I only have 2 notches going in. So if your wrist is much smaller than 7, you're gonna have to poke some holes in the strap because you can't change it. I would suggest getting one of those nice hole poking tools, because if you screw up this strap, you're done. Here we are in the Lume room. When you sell watches this good for this price, something has to suffer. And for Pagani Design, it is usually the Lume. But there are rare exceptions. Just wearing the watch, I have a feeling this is one of them. As we sweep up the time, we see that this is indeed pretty good Lume for a Pagani Design, with the emphasis on for a Pagani Design. The hands appear to have a more bluish tint than the indices. They are not quite as strong as the major indices, but still much better than the minor indices. For a rare exception, the Lume will not be in the gripes and groans section. What do I like about this watch? Big chunk of steel case with all the cool angles. Sits nice and flat on the wrist. I really like this 12-sided bezel with the little screws here, and they're all lined up. And it does have decent Lume for a Pagani Design. What are my gripes and groans? Why not have lugs so you can change the strap? And this is not Pagani Design's fault, but the 24-hour dial is just too close to the open heart. And don't say chronometer if it is not cost certified, which this most certainly is not. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, I had a great time wearing this watch. It wears a lot smaller than it should, and it looks great. If you like them big but not unwieldy, then this is a watch for you. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Pagani Design PD-YS010, and I will be back with another unboxing. I think something's supposed to arrive in the mail today. I thought it was going to be a lot later, and I probably should have waited on that Pagani Design that I'm wearing now, but I did not. So it's going to be another single. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.